In the year 900 AD, something impossible happened. One of the greatest civilizations ever built simply stopped. Cities of 100,000 people left overnight. Palaces sealed, temples silenced, calendars that stopped mid-cycle. 40 cities, all of them, gone within a single generation. For a century, historians called this the Maya collapse. They assumed a civilization had died. They were wrong. Seven million Maya people are alive today, 30 languages still spoken. This is not a story about a civilization that collapsed. This is a story about a civilization that refused to die. To understand how they survived, we must go back to the beginning. Back 3,000 years, to a jungle that held no cities yet. No pyramids, no kings, no calendars, not yet. But something was already different about these people. They watched the sky with an obsession no other culture could match. They tracked Venus for centuries. They predicted eclipses centuries in advance. Their calendar was more accurate than the one you use today. And they built cities so large, we are still finding them today. In this video, you will travel 3,000 years of Maya history. You will witness the wars that shook the continent. The mystery of a collapse that no one has fully explained. And the burning of knowledge so vast we still mourn its loss. But this story does not end in fire. It ends here, today. 7 million survivors of history's most relentless assault on a people. This is who they are. This is where they come from. This is their story. 2,000 years before Christ, Mesoamerica, a mother civilization is born. The Olmec, the first to build cities, the first to carve monuments, and the first to trade the ideas that would become the Maya. Around 2000 BC, the first Maya-speaking peoples settled the Pacific coast. They had already mastered maize cultivation. They knew how to read the seasons. By 1000 BC, small villages had become permanent towns. And then came El Mirador, a city that should not have existed yet. La Danta Pyramid, larger by volume than the Great Pyramid of Giza. Built before Rome existed, before the first Chinese emperor, before everything. But El Mirador had a fatal flaw. It was too large for its own forest. The plaster for their monuments required burning enormous quantities of wood. Without forest, the soil collapsed. Without soil, the city starved. El Mirador collapsed around 150 AD, the first great Maya city. Gone. But the Maya did not die with it. They had already moved south and east. Around 300 BC, something extraordinary appeared. The Maya wrote it down. The only fully developed writing system in the pre-Columbian Americas. 800 glyphs, a language carved in stone and painted on bark. The scribes were among the most powerful people in Maya society. And then there was the calendar, the most ambitious project in human history. The long count calendar tracked time back 5,125 years and forward just as far. They calculated the Venus cycle with an error of just 2 hours per century. 2 hours per century without telescopes, without instruments, without computers. By 250 BC, the Maya had invented the concept of zero. Independently of any other civilization, centuries before Europe would discover it. The pre-classic Maya were not building toward greatness. They were already there. Then, around 250 AD, something extraordinary accelerated. Contact with Teotihuacan, the superpower to the north. Everything changed. Teotihuacan traders and warriors reached Tikal around 378 AD. Their general Siaj Kak arrived. The Tikal king was dead within days. The Maya absorbed the contact. They took the new ideas and made them their own. They did not become Teotihuacan. They became something greater than before. The Classic period, 250 to 900 AD, 650 years of glory. 60 city-states, each a sovereign kingdom, each with its own king and dynasty. Each king claimed divine descent from the maize god. Each city was a cosmos. Tikal, by 500 AD, the largest city in the Western Hemisphere. Its reservoirs held enough water for the entire city through every dry season. Its markets traded jade from Guatemala, obsidian from Mexico, cacao from Belize. But Tikal was not alone. 500 kilometers north, another power was rising. Calakmul, the Snake Kingdom, ruler of a network of vassal states. Two superpowers, one jungle, and between them every city had to choose. In 562 AD, Calakmul and its allies attacked Tikal and won. Tikal's king was captured, sacrificed. The city fell into a century of darkness. While Tikal suffered, Palenque rose and built something no Maya had attempted. Palenque's king was Kinich Janab Pakal. He ruled for 68 years. He became king at 12. He died at 80. He built Palenque into a legend. The inscriptions in his temple record the longest text in the Maya world. Meanwhile, in the east, Copan was solving the mathematics of the cosmos. At Copan, astronomers held a congress. Multiple cities sent their best minds. They corrected the Venus calendar with a formula no European would match for centuries. And in the jungle river valleys, Yaxchilan and Piedras Negras built their own legends. Lady Zoc of Yaxchilan, a queen whose power rivaled any king in the Maya world. The Maya ball game, played for 1,000 years across every city in Mesoamerica. Not merely a sport, a ritual, a reenactment of the battle between life and death. At its peak, the classic Maya world supported 10 million people. More people than lived in England and France combined at that moment in history. Their agricultural system fed every one of them, no simple feat in a rainforest. Cacao was their currency. Their chocolate was unsweetened, spiced with chili. 400 cacao beans could buy a turkey. 10 could buy a rabbit. The classic Maya built 19 major sites, each a city-state with full legal sovereignty. Their roads, Sacbiob, stretched for hundreds of kilometers through the jungle. At Chichen Itza, the El Castillo pyramid aligned perfectly with the equinox sun. Its 9 platforms represent the 9 levels of the Maya underworld, Xibalba. This was the greatest civilization in the Western Hemisphere. No debate, no qualification. And then, slowly, invisibly at first, the sky stopped giving rain. The rains that had fed 10 million people began to fail, year after year after year. (695 AD), Tikal's new king, Jasar Kawil, assembled the largest army in Maya history. His target, Calakmul, the snake kingdom that had humiliated Tikal for a century. The army marched north, 120 kilometers through the jungle. At night, They hit Calakmul at dawn. The Snake Kingdom never recovered from that day. Tikal rebuilt. In 30 years, it raised the tallest structures in the Maya world. Temple 4 at Tikal, 65 meters tall, the highest structure in the Americas. But while Tikal celebrated, the world around it was beginning to fracture. The late Classic saw an explosion of warfare between cities that had once been allies. Dos Pilas, a city that switched allegiances 4 times in 50 years. Its kings sold alliances to the highest bidder, then abandoned the city entirely. In 738 AD, Quirigua executed Copan's king. The Maya world was shocked. Copan never fully recovered. The greatest sculptors in Maya history silenced. The droughts that began around 820 AD were unlike anything the Maya had known. Paleoclimatologists found the evidence in stalagmites, 15 years of severe drought. Then another drought, and another, 9 major droughts between 820 and 1000 AD. The kings responded the only way they knew how: more sacrifices, more rituals. The rains did not come. The people stopped believing, and then they stopped obeying. Between 800 and 900 AD, the southern lowland cities fell one by one. Not conquered, not destroyed, simply abandoned, left to the jungle, one city at a time. But the collapse of the South was not the end. It was a migration, a reinvention. The Maya did not die in the southern lowlands. They relocated their civilization north. Uxmal rose in Yucatan. The Pyramid of the Magician, legend says, was built in a single night. Uxmal's architecture encoded the rain god Chark in every stone mask on every facade. And then came the most controversial city in Maya history, Chichen Itza. Was it Maya? Was it Toltec? Historians still argue. The answer is, it was both. Chichen Itza dominated the Yucatan for 2 centuries. Then its own rivals destroyed it. Mayapan, the last great Maya city-state, a walled city of 15,000 people. In 1441, Mayapan fell to a rebellion. The Maya political world shattered into fragments. February 1517. Spanish ships appeared on the Yucatan horizon for the first time. The Maya of Campeche met them with 10,000 warriors and drove them back to sea. Hernandez de Cordoba returned to Cuba badly wounded. Half his men were dead. Cuba's governor sent a second expedition, then a third, each one larger than the last. But the Spanish would return, and this time they came with disease as their vanguard. Smallpox, a disease the Maya had never encountered. Their immune systems had no defense. Smallpox killed between 50 and 90% of the Maya population before the conquest began. The armies that followed found a people already devastated, already mourning their dead. The Maya resisted for 170 years, the longest resistance to Spanish conquest in the Americas. Montejo failed, his son failed, his grandson finally subdued the northern cities in 1546. Even then, the south, the highlands, the jungle remained undefeated for generations more. Palenque listened politely, then threw the friar's cross into the lake and sent him home. Tayasal, the last independent Maya city, finally fell in 1697 to cannons, not to God. But before the cannons, there was something worse. There was Diego de Landa. July 12, 1562. The town of Maní, Yucatan, an auto de fe unlike any other. Landa had ordered every Maya codex, idol, and ceremonial object confiscated and brought here. The codices burned, 27 books, millennia of knowledge, gone in an afternoon. Only 4 Maya codices survived the conquest. 4 out of thousands. Landa himself would later write the most important book we have about the Maya. His account and his alphabet would eventually help scholars decode Maya writing entirely. The conquest brought forced labor, disease, missionaries, and the erasure of the calendar. The missionaries built their churches on top of Maya pyramids, literally. But the Maya found a way. They hid their knowledge inside the new religion. The Tzolk'in calendar survived hidden inside Catholic festivals for 500 years. The Popol Vuh, the Maya creation epic, was written down in secret around 1554. In it, they recorded the story of creation, of corn, of humanity, of themselves. The Maya concealed their gods inside the Catholic saints. Cha'ak became the rain saints. The maize god became Christ. The corn planting rituals became Christian feast days. The Spanish banned Maya writing. They never banned Maya weaving. Knowledge survived in thread. They were colonized, enslaved, baptized, taxed, and still they remembered who they were. The Caste War of Yucatan, 1847. The Maya nearly reclaimed their peninsula. They were defeated only when the corn planting season arrived, and they went home to plant. The Chan Santa Cruz Maya maintained an independent state until 1901 in the jungle. Every attempt to erase them made them more resilient. Every fire made the memory stronger. The conquistadors are forgotten. The missionaries are footnotes. The Maya are still here. Today, 7 million Maya people live across Guatemala, Mexico, Belize, Honduras, and El Salvador. 30 distinct Maya languages, each with its own literature, grammar, and oral tradition. The Tzolk'in calendar has been counted without interruption for at least 2,500 years. Not approximately, not symbolically, the same count, the same days, continuously. The Maya writing system was fully deciphered in the 20th century by a Russian linguist. Yuri Knorozov, working alone in Leningrad with photographs during the Cold War. Today, 90% of all Maya glyphs have been deciphered. The dead language speaks again. The LiDAR surveys of 2018 revealed a Maya world 10 times larger than we thought. 61,480 previously unknown structures, hidden under the jungle for 1,000 years. Every year, new discoveries rewrite what we know. The Maya world is still being found. In 2020, archaeologists found Aguada Phoenix, the oldest and largest Maya monument ever discovered. Maya activists today fight for land rights, for language rights, for dignity. Maya writers today publish novels. Maya musicians record albums. Maya filmmakers make films. The Maya were never a civilization of the past. They are a civilization of the present. What the Maya built endures. What the Maya knew endures. What the Maya are endures. Over 3,000 years of continuous cultural identity. No other civilization in the Americas comes close. They survived the drought that no civilization in their world survived. They survived the conquest that erased every other major civilization it touched. They survived every attempt to make them forget who they were, and they never forgot. History did not bury the Maya. History could not bury the Maya. No one ever could. The stars are the same stars the ancient Maya watched. The count continues. The Maya endure. The conquistadors are forgotten. The missionaries are footnotes. The Maya are still here. This is what survival looks like. Not heroic, not dramatic, just continuous, just alive. We began this story in the ruins of a city called Tikal, abandoned, silent, overgrown. We asked what civilization built this and disappeared. Now you know the full answer. They were not a civilization that collapsed. They were a civilization that adapted, always. They invented zero while Europe still counted on fingers. They mapped Venus while Rome burned. Without the wheel, without iron, without draft animals, they built a world. And when that world was taken from them, they built it again, inside themselves. The Popol Vuh says, "We were made to see, to hear, to walk, and to give thanks." For 3,000 years, against every obstacle, they gave thanks. Today, 2.3 million tourists visit Maya ruins every year. The world comes to learn from them. Not from what they were, from what they are. The Maya are not an ancient civilization. The Maya are a civilization of the present, of the future, of the count that never stops. In the beginning there was darkness. From the darkness the maize god rose. He always rises. What you have witnessed is not history. It is the longest love story ever told. A civilization in love with time, with corn, with stars, with the act of counting the days. They are still counting. Today is a day in the Tzolk'in. Tomorrow will be the next one. The Maya never disappeared. They were always here. They will always be here. If you like this video, don't forget, hit the like button and subscribe. See you in the next episode.